Yeah, good morning, everyone. I'm Parag Pandav from a corporate development team of Nazara. I primarily look at various investment and M&A opportunities at Nazara. I'm very happy here today to present a session on emerging trends in gaming. So in this presentation, we'll see two things. One is that how was 2023 for a gaming industry? And in the second segment of the presentation, we'll see what are the emerging trends that we are seeing for the 2024 and beyond. Let's get into the first segment of the presentation, which is how was 2023 for the gaming. So here there are two graphs in this particular slide, and if you look at the right-hand side graph, so you can see in 2023 the gaming market was largely stable, where the total market size was around 184 billion, and it was constant as same as 2022. But the one good thing about this is that there was a hyper-growth period of 2020 when the gaming market actually grew by 23% because of the COVID-related disruptions, which positively yielded for the gaming market. But over the period of last 3 years, the gaming market has been slightly declined, but it has been stable and it has never come down below 178 billion line. So we are happy for this particular trend, primarily because over the past 2-3 years, there has been higher interest rate regime which is going on. Inflation rates are very high. Funding is relatively, funding for the gaming industry has been relatively lower. As a result of this, more and more gaming studios are focusing on optimizing profitability rather than spending money on growing their top line. So as a result of it, the growth has shrunk, but overall market has been quite stable, and that is good. As per the Newzoo report, again, Newzoo is projecting that by 2026, the CAGR will be 4%. And if you look at the left-hand side chart, where the gaming industry itself is the largest segment of the larger media and entertainment industry, where if you put together the entire size of the movie, books, and the music industry, the gaming industry is actually much more bigger than all sum total of all these three industries. So that's another exciting fact about the gaming industry. Now, looking at the geographic cuts about the industry data. So traditionally, North America, Europe, and Asia Pacific has been the larger market. But the good thing is that there are emerging markets in terms of Middle East, Africa, and also the LATAM. So relatively, the market size of these particular geographies are relatively smaller, but the growth rates are good. So the gaming developers, who definitely they can think about these geographies as a potential market to launch their games. Next, if we see the data cuts in terms of revenue coming from the platform and also number of players in the various platforms. So largely the revenue coming, so largely we have seen, right, the total size of the market revenue has been constant as in the CY23 as compared to 22. And the same thing is for the number of player also. So number of player has been also constant in CY23 as compared to CY22. However, interesting trends in a platform wise where the mobile revenue has slightly declined and the number of users on a mobile platform has increased by 7.5%. Similarly, the revenue coming from the PC platform has been constant, but the number of users on a PC has declined significantly by almost 200 million. And on the brighter side, console revenue has slightly increased and number of users has been constant. And the console, it's a good news for the industry because ARPUs are higher on a console industry. Now, specifically getting into the mobile platform, free-to-play has been dominant business model, and it will be there a dominant business model. That what we also think. Looking at the genre-wise trend, what we also saw is that the match 3 and the social casual gaming genre has grown in the last year, whereas the other genres like strategy, RPG, simulation has shown a slight degrowth. Some of the interesting trends that we spotted, and you can refer to the two graphs which are there on the right-hand side of the slide. The gaming studios are increasingly trying to incorporate the social features in their game. They are also trying to link their games to the IPs. So for example, Coin Master, they innovated on a traditional slot gaming mechanism, and which was very successful, and they were able to scale up their revenues. As compared to the Monopoly Go, they not only innovated on a traditional dice gaming mechanism, but they also linked it to the IP, a very strong IP of Monopoly. And their growth actually shot up in the last year, and they took over the Coin Master also. There's the bottom right corner, there's another graph, Candy Crush versus Royal Match. We all know Candy Crush has been market leader in the match 3 category for almost like 8 to 10 years, but in the last year, Royal Match actually managed to beat them on a revenue scale. And the reason for that is, of course, Royal Match came up with a better gameplay, better social, better meta feature in the game, and also the better marketing plan that they had. So that was the big trend reversal which has happened in the last year. In the PC and console segment, we are also seeing the increasing traction is there on the F2P business model. So if you see in 2023, again, Newzoo's report points out that around for the new games which are coming in PC, 59% of the monetization happening through pay-to-play kind of model. Again, geography-wise, North America and APAC and Europe has been the largest geographies for the PC games. But largely, if you see America and China as the two dominant countries for PC games. If we look at the monetization model for the PC and console, so again, the premium on overall basis, the premium monetization is there the largest contributor to the PC and console gaming segment. However, if we see there's a significant amount of revenue which is coming from microtransactions and also DLCs and subscription, right? So definitely we also think if free-to-play is getting into the PC and console model, and that is increasingly getting more and more traction. Now we look at what happened in FY23 and what were the macro trends. Now we'll look into what are the emerging trends, right? So before we go into the emerging trends, it's important for us to understand exactly what is the base principle and how the technology scales in the gaming industry, right? So if you look at the top half of the slide where there are various platforms listed, right? There are like arcade, console, PC, mobile, AR, VR. Like if you think about it, in older days, there used to be arcade when a player needs to play a certain amount of money to get an access to the game, and also that player needs to go at certain particular place, and that access was also limited for a certain period of time. As compared to the mobile, where a player can download a game and virtually get an access to the game for unlimited period of time and play the game at his or her will anytime, anywhere he or she wants, right? So that means that mobile has been able to democratize the access to the game and also improve the experience for the gamer. And because of that, the mobile gaming market has been able to scale. So that's the base principle that we currently think, that any technology or any platform which is helping to democratize the access to the game and also improves the total experience of the gaming, that will be scalable in this industry. Now thinking basis that, so these are the list of the trends that we have spotted. There are broad three trends: social, user-generated content, and transmedia. And then there are supporting ecosystem trends which are currently happening. The one is the payment ecosystem, second one is the cross-play, third is the VR gaming, generative AI, and Web3. Now we'll go into each of this trend in a subsequent slide in detail. So the first trend is social. So recently what has happened is that because of the IDFA change, user acquisition has become a bit of expensive and difficult for a lot of games. So because of which, a lot of gaming studios are preferring to integrate social features in the game and trying to integrate with the, interact with the gamers in their non-gaming and gaming life. So there has been multiple examples of it. For example, Travis Scott partnered with Fortnite. In India, Ranveer Singh also partnered with BGMI. A lot of gaming studios are partnering with influencer, and play with influencer is kind of well-established model nowadays. A lot of consumer brand companies are also partnering with the gaming influencer, gaming studios to brand their, do marketing in the gaming studios and other social media channels. There has been multiple technology tools which has also come in. For example, Glib.gg, Playlabs, etc., which are enabling gamer or player to record the videos, to create clips out of it and upload that on a social media, create a content around it. So the whole ecosystem for the social is also parallelly developing, right? So this is one of the important mega trend which is happening in the gaming, where the gaming studios are integrating a lot of social trends in their gameplay. Next trend is the user-generated content. Now, over the period of time, a lot of UGC platforms has come in. And if you think about our base principle, UGC platforms have actually done the same thing. They have made the content creation and the gaming platform so easy and so simple that their growth has become quite evident. And they, in a way, democratize the process of content creation on a gaming platform. So this is the market map of the UGC content players. Thanks to A16Z for putting together this. So if you look at this on a horizontal axis, there are players like Roblox or Overwolf, which is like a pure play UGC content platform. They do not have any restriction on gaming. They do not have any restriction on a genre. While on the other side, there are platforms like Fortnite, which has their own gameplay, but they also has their content creation platform inside the gameplay, and they're promoting gamers and creators to create a content around it. On a vertical axis, you can see there are multiple platforms which are focusing on UGC around particular genre, and on the other hand, there are genre agnostic, again, the UGC platform. And so yeah, that's the another trend that which we are currently seeing. Third trend, which is very important, is the transmedia IP. So over the period of time, gaming companies have developed a lot of IPs. And recently, what the larger gaming studios are doing, they are trying to create content in the different media platform. For example, they are trying to create a web series around the gaming IPs. So recent example is the Fallout, which got released very recently in Amazon Prime. Right after release of the series, you can see the active users for that particular Fallout 3 game has shot up tremendously. Like there was 700% jump in the active users for the Fallout 3 games. Similarly, there are multiple gaming IPs are planning to come up with their movies and series in this year and subsequently. Another example is the Cyberpunk. Again, Cyberpunk monthly active users was not picking up in 2021 and 2022, but they came up with a series on Netflix in September 2022, as a result of which, in the similar month, they also witnessed a huge growth in the monthly active users. And Newzoo actually did a study on this particular trend, and they identified the transmedia IPs, the number of copies sold is actually higher. The growth in the games which are following the transmedia route is also significantly higher than games which are not following transmedia IPs. Overall, if a gaming IP comes up with a series or a movie, then there is on an average basis, 40% increase in monthly active users are there. Also, if you look at the right-hand side graph where, again, the top 50 games for the PC and console, almost 80% of the games have IPs and they follow multimedia, transmedia approach. And however, there are always an exception. 20% games are there who do not follow this approach, and they have been able to be successful. At Nazara also, we are trying to adopt this approach. We have one of the studio, Kidopia, has recently launched a toy based on a very famous character of a Kidopia game in US market and getting a lot of rave reviews, and we are expecting there will be cross synergies between the media platforms. So these were the broad trends that we identified. Now getting into technology trends and what changes are happening. Related to payment ecosystem, so there are three trends that we spotted. One is, of course, the direct-to-consumer, and gaming studios are increasingly preferring to get the revenue from the direct-to-consumer channels. There are multiple companies who have developed a solution around it. Xsola is one of the leader, and I hope you will hear from them today later in the day also. And a lot of studios, for example, Playtika, they are getting around 25% of the revenue from this particular channel, and there are multiple examples of it. So this is definitely a trend which is picking up. Also, in addition to that, there are other trends like real-time payments and buy now, pay later, which are also happening in the payment ecosystem. Next trend is into the cross-platform. So increasingly, gaming studios are trying to create game in multiple platforms. So the reason for that is, if you look at the left-hand side graph again, and just take an example of the mobile game players. So total number of game players on a mobile platform is around 79%. So out of which 35% of game players are only playing games on mobile as a one platform, right? But there is a majority number of users, like 42% of the users who are playing games on PC, console, in addition to mobile also. So when a game studio launches game on a multiple platform, that actually gives a player another platform to play that and have a better experience, and multiple better experience. The engagement increases for the particular game, retention increases, and as a result of that, game also sees the revenue increase. So this is the another trend that the majority of the gaming studios are following up. Stumble Guys is one of the successful example of this particular trend. Also, recently, Roblox also launched a game on a PlayStation, and it also was quickly able to grow to the number third rank, right, only after COD and Fortnite on PlayStation. So that's also an interesting trend that we spotted. Now the next trend is the VR. So now VR has been there in the market since last 10, 15 or so years, right? Over the period of time, lot of development on a hardware side is happening. Last year, Apple Vision Pro also got launched. However, it failed to garner the success as it was expected to, but it definitely improved the quality of the device and the experience that it provides to the particular user. Uh, we also know that Apple and Meta and other device manufacturers are trying to manufacture the device in an affordable rate. As the affordability of the devices becomes increasingly better, and of course the quality of the devices is increasing. As a result of this, we believe that there will be definite rapid growth in the VR gaming market in the years to come, and it won't be very far from today. So this is one of the trends that a gamer developer should not definitely miss. As per the Newzoo report, again, in 2023, the VR devices sold has increased by around 44%. And also in the future, they are expecting that number will rapidly grow from here onwards. So that's another trend. Another mega trend which is currently happening is the generative AI, and we are often being asked how the generative AI will affect our game development and related activities, right? So this is the basic principle about the game development. So a typical game studio, when they are thinking to develop the game, there are broad three parameters which they should keep in mind. One is the cost. What will be the cost of development? What will be the scope of development? And the third one is what will be the time for the development of the gaming content, right? And in the normal environment, in the traditional environment, it is only possible to optimize on the two variables of these three variables. For example, you can optimize on the cost of a game development and optimize on the time of a game development, but you won't be able to optimize on the scope of the development. Similarly, another example could be you can optimize on a cost and maximize the scope or optimize the scope of the game development, but as a result of it, the time required for the development of the game will be very high. So that has been the traditional model, but generative AI is exactly disrupting this particular framework. So with the help of various tools which are available currently, the cost of game development significantly reduces. Cost of time required for the development also significantly reduces. But as a result of it, the game studios can actually more and more focus on better content creation, live ops, and ways to figure out ways to deeper the engagement with the gameplay and innovation in that particularly. So we believe that with the help of Gen AI, you can actually optimize that all three parameters of the game development and come up with a better quality gaming content. These are various game tools which are available, and there are many more apart from this. I won't go into detail of each of them, but if you want to read more about it, you can go and check the websites called Product Hunt, Future Tools, Easy with AI, and etc. And you can get more information about what type of AI tools which are available. Now, next trend is Web3. So Web3, people usually think that there is a lot of frauds which happen in Web3, there are a lot of scams in Web3, or there is a hype cycle. Partially, it is true also. There has been scams and fraud which has happened once hype cycle is already over. But Web3 as a technology brings very interesting benefits to the gaming sector. Right? For example, Web3 can actually democratize the ownership. It can actually transfer the ownership of the digital assets to the gamer or the person who is particularly buying the digital assets. For example, what happens in a normal normal gaming scenario, when you are purchasing something on a game, then you are getting access to that particular digital asset. You are in a way licensing that. However, the ownership is always remain with the gaming studio. But with the use of the Web3 technology, actually the gamer or a player can actually own those particular assets. So that's a significant value add that we currently think that Web3 brings to the table. We at Nazara also thinks that any Web3 technology or tools, if they can strengthen the core gaming loop, then it's definitely a very helpful Web3 application, and that is the that can be a big differentiator among the other games. So this is just a summary. I won't go into detail of which we just walk through it, but yeah, just capture the summary which is there for all the trends that we are currently seeing. That's it from my side. If there are any questions, I'm happy to answer those as well.
Any questions? Parag is going to be around. Yeah. Mike here, please.
Hello, I wanted to ask, in these recent years, have you faced any resistance to microtransactions?
So there's a resistance to the microtransaction. In fact, in India, I have seen some gaming studios who are increasingly experimenting with the microtransaction. Because in India, especially the UPI has come up, right? So the real-time payment is happening. And also people are experimenting with, for example, like even 10 rupees transaction also. So there are some gaming studios who are trying with it, trying the microtransactions and which are being successfully happening. Even in the real money gaming apps also, the same thing is quite successfully, they're trying it out, yeah.
What my question actually was is, we see news that little children are spending lakhs and lakhs of monies on assets like skins or chests. So have you ever faced any resistance from the parents or from the government, like, we don't want to spend so much money? Have you faced any resistance like that?
Not really. So typically what happens is that these are the digital asset purchases, right? So typically even government doesn't interfere into this kind of thing. I think only there is a negative news which comes up in case if it becomes a negative fad or something like that, right? But if a person or kid goes in a PUBG or BGMI and buys certain asset, I don't think government interferes into that. Only in case of real money gaming, there has been certain policy changes, but apart from the other gaming segment, there has not been any policy intervention. But of course, on a parent level, I can say it's up to the family that how much money they wanted to give to kids to spend on a particular game and purchase of the digital assets.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions?
I think one back.
Oh, yeah, one mic behind, please. Last question and then we'll move next.
Yeah.
It's not time,
Yeah, great presentation, Parag.
Thanks.
Quick question. We saw the insights and trends for the overall games market. That is great. Any specific insights for the India market?
So India market is growing definitely very fast. It is one of the emerging market and fast growth market. What we are being seeing is because of the digital penetration in India, the ad revenue has been significant and it has been in a growing trend. In case of a successful games like BGMI, the IAPs are also being able to successfully pick up right in India. Also, like as the Indian middle class or upper middle class becomes wealthy and wealthy, what we also think that the growth, the well users can also come from India. So is also another trend which is possible in India. As the India progresses more and more, we expect there will be certain class in the society which will spend more on the gaming sector for sure.
Right. And going beyond mobile, do you see any traction over there? Because India predominantly, whatever growth we have seen is only in mobile.
Yeah, that is correct. Because the mobile is the most affordable device and there are a lot of number of people who has the access to the mobile device and very few number of people relatively has an access to the PC and console. So yeah, mobile is the one which will be driving the growth in India, mobile gaming, definitely.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thanks, Parag.
Yeah.